Yourself? Oh,
Yes. Ooh, it says we are live. Let me put our little banner up. So today we're talking about vitality in business. Let's give people a minute. We're going to have a comments box, Marla, that you can use.
okay.
I'm going to put up a little streamer a little bit later. So if people want to ask questions, they can type it into the comments box and you can discuss it with them.
Well, I have to learn how to use that myself, so I'll take some coaching.
Okay. And let's see. I'm just excited to be doing this. So, because this has been one of my little side projects for a while to talk to other business people. My big thing was, I'm not a unicorn. There's lots of people that can go to work for themselves and do what they want. Right. And so I'm trying to talk to more people like me, which is you today, about your journey and what you've been doing and share some good points with people. And then we can probably drive it home with the vitality thing about what some people could be doing right now during this critical time. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. If you're at home right now, keep smiling. We're going to get through this. And I have a lady here today, Marla Koupal, if I'm pronouncing her name right. She is probably one of the most energetic people I've ever met in this town doing networking. She's always full of energy. She's always got ideas. She's always inspirational. And I love her energy. She's been working and doing business in this town for a very long time. And
30 years, yeah.
Over 30 years. And so she's what they call a vitality mentor. So Marla, tell us what it is a vitality mentor does.
Thank you. And Ronnie, I just love these that you do. So thank you very much for having me on.
Yes.
And so the Vitality Mentor is how I branded myself probably in 2014. When I finally had resigned a job I'd been working for a long time and really realized it was time to take care of my health and to help others do the same thing. I've been a self-care advocate for over 35 years, understanding where stress really made me choose to sell my first business in 1988 because I'd burned myself out. Wow. And so all those self-discoveries have added up. But I've always had this sunny disposition, if that's what you want to call it. And but I can have my downsides. But I've realized that people don't know how to craft vitality. That energy of, wow, I love to do this and let's go at it this way. And to not wait for people to tell you it was a good choice, it was a bad choice. This is your spirit speaking. So move with it. And so vitality, somebody at the University of Pennsylvania even did a research on this. And I only found this 6 years after I'd labeled myself a vitality mentor. But they said that vitality is creating infectious enthusiasm. And I went, well, yeah, I can own that because I might get down for 30 seconds, but I'm going to find the upside pretty quickly.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think that, I'm 50 now and I keep having these battles in my mind about, I don't need to give up. When you're younger, you're athletic and you're doing things and you're running and moving all the time. And as we age, we seem to slow down a little bit. But I try to look for these inspirational people that are older than me that are still running 8 miles a day or doing something that I find to be crazy. And that helps me understand that I can keep moving too.
Yeah. There's a lot of that physical movement that I did when I was younger, the skiing and the sailing and the rock climbing. It's not there for me anymore because I created all sorts of physical consequences for myself. So I now have joint replacements.
Yeah.
But at 71, what's exciting for me is I run with your age group. So meaning, and you put a 5-year-old in front of me, I'm going to have a fun conversation. But I actually found a book the other day called Successful Aging. And I don't agree with all of his concepts, but I would have to say that I called myself the Vitality Mentor because I believe it is my job to show people how they can successfully age.
Wow. So that's it right there. That's your key point right there, how you can successfully age.
Yeah.
Wow. I like that. I mean, so what's your client base look like? Is it someone like me that's 50 and, we're over the hill now is what they call it, and we're moving forward? Or what's your ideal client look like, and what are they seeking?
Well, so as the Vitality Mentor, that's just kind of my whatever brand. I actually have products that I represent. One of them is a health product that's wearable. It's a technology that helps the brain tell the body how to function better.
Okay.
I also have two business technologies. One is a digital business card, and then I have like a website production potential for people to manage their own CRM and their connections in social media.
Okay.
So what's fascinating to me is I'm a technology nerd from two sides of the equation. Let's take the technical and let's take the health.
Yeah.
And things that mystify people around that is my adventure. And everybody says, well, how did you do that? Because I would say there's a good 20% of people my age that say, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that. If you are not technically involved right now, you are the most isolated you will probably be for the rest of your life.
Am I hearing you correctly? Are you talking about the majority of us that are getting a little bit older? We seem to push back against technology. Like, my dad, he's like, well, I've got a track phone. I don't need anything else, and you're telling me you're showing people how to age successfully by embrace some of the stuff, use some of the stuff. It'll advance your life, help your communication skills. I mean, that's where I think it's a dangerous place for people because they just don't want to do it. And I think if they just open up their mind a little bit, they could start using some of this stuff and advance their life a lot. Is that what you're saying?
Well, for sure. Now, I guess, I'm not someone who said, oh, I'm getting old, therefore I should do this to stay young. I've been pretty adventurous most of my life. And so in 1984, this is before businesses have software to even buy. I had to find a hardware guy and a software guy. I'd have somebody write a program to manage my property management company.
Floppy disks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, they would both point fingers at each other and say, it's his problem, it's his problem. What they quickly realized was they did not want, I would never have a meeting one-to-one with them. They would have to come into the room together. And I said, we're here until you guys figure out the solution. Who's doing what to fix this? I never let them off the hook. And they got really quickly that, we better work with her or this isn't going to handle. And I wasn't nasty. I didn't have to be. It was just like, someone's got to own this. But my programmer guy, I loved him. He was older and he taught me a lot. And I actually would get so frustrated with the breaks in the code that I learned DOS enough to go in and at least show him where the break was.
Wow.
Didn't know how to fix it. And we're creating an accounting program for over 200 owners that I worked for. And I had over 30 trust accounts. And I'm collecting over $1 million a month in rent.
People don't even know what DOS is anymore.
No.
It's DOS, right? DOS. Isn't it an acronym? It stood for something, right?
Yeah, probably, but I don't ask me what it was.
It was
something operating system. So, OS you could always figure out. The D, I'm not too sure I remember what it was for. But so I take on adventures. I think that's the thing. And so if we will see change as an adventure and go, what's the possibility of what I will see on the other side? We know no one has a crystal ball. So why keep expecting people to have a crystal ball?
Are you helping people mentally age successfully as well as physically age successfully? Is that what you do?
Yes, because mentally, you're just going to have these kinds of conversations with me, and whatever sparks in our conversation, I got sparks.
Okay.
And then I do have my health product has actually helped me return to youthing because I was a fall risk 2.5 years ago.
Oh, no.
I lived in I did not know that my fear level was probably level 5 or 6. because I couldn't walk downstairs or off curbs without fear of my ankles giving out and me not having any support.
Oh, no.
So I actually have managed my swelling, my fall risk, and my sleep improvement. And so how I know to be is this way.
Okay.
You know there's a problem when I'm not showing up this way.
Okay.
And when I see that, then it's interesting. I could say that I go on a search for, but I have to say that I'm very, very blessed with hundreds of connections with alternative healthcare people. And I will refer any one of them as people need. And that's kind of where I'm offering my connections through this time. And they show up on my doorstep and they know not to bring me anything crackpot.
Crackpot.
Yeah, no.
There, tell us something. Tell us a story about how you successfully help someone age successfully. Like, give us a success story on what you had a customer, they were struggling with this particular issue, and you entered their life and changed it. Give us a quick, 2-minute story.
I don't know that I have a specific person, but I have a customer base that I can show them how to have pain relief from neuropathy.
Pain relief from neuropathy. Okay.
Yeah, and they can feel that difference in 5 minutes. Now, that's obviously one of my products. I have an insole and a sock that will do that. And that sounds silly, but it has technology. And that's probably where I can, and I'll use this term, hopefully it's not as I, but actually I see people get shit-eating grins on their face in 5 minutes. And these are people that have lived with this pain. So neuropathy, if people aren't, I'll give you my layman's description of it. I'm not a medical person. But actually what's happening is the nerve endings in the body shut down and they don't communicate with the body.
Okay.
So the blood is sitting in their foot, not moving. So that swells and they don't have circulation. And so first of all, it's numb, it hurts, and they start shuffling when they walk as opposed to being able to pick up their feet.
Right.
So you know as an athlete, Ronnie, that you want great proprioceptor communication. I'm going to go do this, and my body's going to relate to the earth, my muscles, and my skeleton.
Yeah.
Some of that shut down for them.
That's not good.
And so what happens is when they sit on this insole or stand on it, in about 2 minutes, I can see the pain leave their eyes.
Wow.
Now, people go, that's weird. But no, actually, people's eyes get wider and more open when they're less pained. It's very distinctive. And once you're working with people, you see that all the time.
Well, it's nice to bring people some alleviation of pain, whether it's, by selling the product that they need or by helping them, mentally think through it.
But what they also have is hope. What they do is when they walk out with it, they're no longer shuffling. So within 5 to 10 minutes, they typically aren't shuffling. It takes time to have the major shift, but I have a lot of people that means that the circulation's moving. So they feel a tickle, they feel warmth, and they tell me this. And then you see the smile come across their face. And
all right.
And they're my biggest fan base because it's pretty much a good solution for them right away. And what's the potential for them? And I don't always get to check back with them, but the potential for them is to reduce some of their drug use because they're getting prescriptions that tell the brain there is no pain.
Awesome.
But the body still has pain. So if they can get off of that, then that's where I want to help. I believe in drug-free, non-invasive, non-electrical solutions. And so all my friends know they can always bring me those to look at.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what you've been doing. Like with this crisis thing, none of us could really see this coming. Like we've all been working in business, you 30 years, me 20 years. We've gone through 9/11 and 2008 crash and recessions and things like that. And I'm trying to give myself a little slack here because I'm like, dude, there's no way you could have saw this coming. This was just so different. So how are you responding to COVID-19 in your business world and with your friends? How are you responding?
Good. I'm trying to text anywhere from 25 to 100 people a day to just say, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Now, the decision was tough to make because it was 2 weeks ago, Wednesday. I started trying to pack up to go to a trade show. And my business usually starts in March with trade shows.
Wow.
On the
Right. Yeah,
13th,
everybody was amping up for spring break.
I was amping up for business. And I watched myself. I'm going, okay, I'm going to be standing at a trade show. People are going to be nervous. I need to take wipes. I need to do this. I had packed a bag of safety stuff.
Where was this going to be?
In Loveland.
Oh, okay.
And they hadn't called it off yet. So I'm still in this debate. I'm not denying that there's an issue coming. I'm just denying the when. I mean, I'm not knowing the when. So my husband's a tax accountant and he works from home.
Mm-hmm.
So now my brain starts thinking, oh my God, I don't know that I won't bring something home. And he's basically our key source of income at this time of the year.
Yeah.
Because I'm just ramping up again. And it's like, oh. So by noon, I said, okay, I'm not going to go. It took 3 hours. I had 2 appointments in Denver on Friday that one of them I'd been waiting for 6 months.
Did you go?
No. I had one on Monday that I had been trying to get for a year.
And you canceled that too?
Yep. And I said, I'm staying home because I had walking pneumonia in December. This would be stupid to put myself at any other level of, because who knows where I am. I feel healthy, but that, arrogance only serves you so far.
Well, I've been telling my mom and my aunt, and my dad, stay home, and that's where we can help people, help them figure out how to order food or
right.
navigate through this. That's, the family, come together and help people.
Right.
So what else did you do next when you decided you weren't going to go to Loveland?
Well, I got a hold of everybody. I was still feeling bad. And then, by Friday, everybody canceled anyway, because that was when Polis came out. So it was like, I was fine. It took 4 days, I would say, through that Sunday for me, maybe 5 days to stop feeling like I should be doing something.
Right.
Like, well, how am I going to plan? How am I going to income? And I had all these other friends start throwing their ads up. And it was like, that was when I said, I need to be present for people who in their fear, because I've done this before. And I actually have
ads up. What do you mean?
Well, just hustling, selling, fearful of not having any income. So you're going after other people who are also fearful of not having any income.
And they're trying to sell to each other?
Yeah. I was like, well, hello, that's just like a car crash. So
it's a good analogy.
But, I lived through martial law and riots when I was in my senior year of college in 1970 in Santa Barbara.
Wow.
And at that point, I was a property manager for a building. I was only the assistant manager, but, we had 250 students in the building. We lived on the edge of Isla Vista. We watched we all had to live with passes to get to and from class. We knew we could be stopped by the police at any time. You lived in fear of having somebody think you broke the rules when you did not. You had the fear of being around people who maybe were more angry than you, and they would attract attention to themselves. And I had a lot of friends who lived down in the beach area, which is where all the riots were going on and the cars were getting turned over and Molotov cocktails were getting thrown. And so I was housing people in my place. We didn't have a virus, but we had a social issue going on. And I was never so disappointed in humanity as I was at the end of my senior year. My parents
using all of that you learned back then to respond now.
What
are you actually doing with that activity?
To stay calm, not get into the drama, realize that everybody's emotions escalates the situation on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And that the best thing we can do is to not get overly opinionated about this and just take care of ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, and our family, and stop going out there and arguing with what people are doing. I think the one thing people don't understand about leadership is you make the best choices you can in the moment.
With the information that you have.
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
I agree with you. So that's your response, is you're just trying to stay calm you're actually following the CDC's guidelines by staying at home and taking care of yourself, number one, and then your family.
Yeah.
What are you doing to respond business-wise? What are you doing with your customers? Are you reaching out to them as a friend? Are you
Just as
helping
a
them in any
friend.
way?
Well, I'm just as a friend, but the company that I represent, which is Vox Life, we actually have a Neurovax patch that's coming out Friday. So I'm trying to get pre-orders for that. And what it does is it triggers the midbrain to trigger the vagus, to trigger the thymus, to trigger the spleen, which in our body, those manage our immune system reflex. It's fun to think that our immune system is actually a reflex. And those of us who are aging, the midbrain usually starts declining in its function. And this actually stimulates that to say, no, this is what you're supposed to do. So I'm not trying to overhype it, but I'm trying to say there's a solution. And I have to tell you, the owner of our company saw the writing on the wall in November. He was not going to launch this patch for 2 more years. And he went to 3M in December and said, hey, we need to pull this up. I need you to take my other stuff off production. I need you to ramp up. How soon can you do it? And so it's supposed to ship Friday. All of us that are associates have put our pre-orders in, but we can do that. And it's a 24-hour patch. It's going to look something like this.
That looks like a piece of paper.
Yeah, but you tape it to your skin, and our skin communicates to our midbrain. I'll just say it that simply. Everybody can say, where's the science? But I can show you, because I've been wearing something like this for my balance for 2.5 years. So this is just going to be for the immune system. It's a 48-hour patch, and you can get a 30-day supply. I have a brother doing chemo right now, and I have a brother that was retired but still driving school bus. Guess who's getting a bag of patches from me as soon as I get them in my hands? They're in the mail to them because they're both compromised.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm taking care of my family, taking care of my husband, myself. We're eating well. I don't mind calling up King Supers and putting in an order, and it's a crapshoot, I got to tell you, because 50% of the order you put in, you can't get.
You're funny, Marla. You know, I think that what people aren't getting, maybe not getting out of this particular interview, is Marla's been doing business for a long time, and she's got a lot of information in there, you know. And so you even ran for office once in California, right?
I was in, I lived in Bakersfield, California. That's where I owned my business for 10 years. And, you know, the good old boys, they all met down at the coffee shop every morning.
Boys.
And yeah, and I had a number of friends say, you ought to go have coffee with the good old boys. And I did a few times, and then they said, hey, you should go out and run because, and, you know, I had really great support. But you know, you never know how naive you are till you get on the other side.
I'm never doing that, but yeah, I get it.
You know what? I was a single woman in business in the 80s. Now here's the deal. People wanted to label you. Now I know where we are in the 2020s, and everybody's all up in arms about that women's lib. You know, I was raised in a farm family, and what you do is you just suck it up and you do it, and it doesn't matter whether you're wearing pants or a skirt.
Okay. And yeah, I get that.
I was 26 years old before I understood what male chauvinism was. And that's in the mid 70s, right? So I'm working in Sacramento, managing a 300 unit luxury complex, or assistant managing. These guys walk in from Memphis, Tennessee in 3-piece suits. And this is 1976. And they're coming in and we're the new management company. It's like, okay, well, we all wanted our jobs, right? So I go in and interview with them, and I say, so I said, you know, I have managed this property now. Each time a manager is fired. And I said, I would love to have the ability to be the manager.
Right.
And the senior guy, oh my God, he just blurted out, well, we've never had a woman manager before. Now, here's the deal. This is where it's hard.
You blurted that out in the meeting?
Yeah, but but I blurted out because this is who I am. I took no offense. I just said, well, what does that mean? like, huh?
Can you imagine that happening today?
Other people might have gotten their backs up, but I was just like, really? what does that mean? And
Wow.
then that scared the hell out of them. Then I realized that they had crossed some discriminatory boundary that I didn't even really know that existed. I just thought they were foolish, because they couldn't get a better solid head on there. So they brought in another manager that knew their manual, but had only been a property manager for 6 years. I already had 5 years experience between college and working for them.
Okay.
So in 6 months, I was the manager, and that was fine with me. So I'm collecting $1 million a month in rent in 1976 just off of one property.
$1 million a month in 1976. Wow.
So I just laugh, when people go get all hussy fussy about glass ceilings or whatever else. It's like, people are going to be ignorant all the time.
I think we just got the golden nugget of this interview.
What's that?
People are going to be idiots all the time. And if you just let it suppress you, then you're letting them win. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. So
I love it. That's actually a golden nugget of this interview right there.
Thank you.
Like 1976, you're managing property. The good old boys are saying, we ain't never had a woman do this job. And you were collecting $1 million a month in rent. That is crazy. So for those of you out there that suppose there's a glass ceiling, I mean, I'm not going to deny that it exists, but don't let it hold you back.
No, so here's the deal, Ronnie, if I could just have one thing. We have been so around the bend. But there's this word empowerment, and it started showing up in the 80s. And the deal about the way I hear the word used often is people are saying, well, I want to empower people. Stop right there. The only person that can empower you is you. And that is out of your choice. People can talk about what empowerment looks like. They can talk about what it might feel like for them. But until you own that you are your own motivator, there is no gifting of empowerment.
Yeah, you can't just light a match in the fuse and then they just start going.
Right.
You gotta light it internally.
Because that message has been out there for 4 decades now, that somebody else owes you, can give you, or will tell you how to be empowered.
Amen.
And it is your own factory.
Yep. And for those of you that heard that and get that, good for you. I mean, because I think that that's important,
So sorry, I get excited about all sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, we can tell that you don't need anybody to empower you, Marla.
Oh, I think thank you, but I think I was born this way. I was definitely given permission to be this way. But I want to tell you one thing that I always still laugh at is I was teaching some leadership courses in the late, what was it? Early 90s.
Okay.
And somebody wanted all of us who were in this leadership program and trainers, they wanted us to take this profile. So this profile had 30 words on it, like blunt, direct, positive, da 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 da. They had 30 words. They described character, right?
Yeah.
They asked all the team members to rate people like me, or I rated them, and we circled the words, and then they said, is this a positive or a negative? Every last one of them marked me blunt, but positive.
Blunt,
and
but positive.
I have worn that, but it makes me manage myself too.
I know lots of people that are blunt and positive. I get it.
I'll share a velvet 2x4 once in a while, but I'll make sure it's velvet, not just the wood. Yeah,
we don't want to get hit with scratchy wood bluntness. We like the velvet 2x4.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I mean, Marla, it's nice to catch up with you. I think that this technology is going to allow us to stay connected, especially right now during COVID-19. And I encourage all of you who are watching or will watch later to embrace some of this technology, because as she says, this stuff's going to be happening whether we like it or not. And this is how a lot of us are going to be communicating and connecting. So I would definitely urge or encourage you, not empower, but encourage you to check out this the tech that's going on. So anything else, any other golden nuggets you want to leave for the people?
No, I just appreciate you, Ronnie, for what you're doing to just spread the word, keep the cheer up. I know it's tough on everybody who's a small business owner and just trying to stay positive because the unknown sucks. Let's talk about that. It just sucks.
Yeah.
And we're all doing the best we can to stay on the upside of this thing. So thank you.
One day at a time. You're very welcome. We'll do it again. Maybe we'll pick a different topic and have you back on because I love your energy. You are always energetic. I haven't seen you slow down, and I think I've known you for 6 or 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can't tell the difference between then and now. Your energy level is still off the charts. So
Great.
I love it. Keep it up.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if you need me, give me a holler. And if you guys have any comments and you see this later, post them in the comments box. We'll tag Marla in this and get it out there so you guys we can all communicate about it.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Have
Thanks,
a great
Ronnie.
day. Yep.
Bye-bye.